Bro, do your thing.
What's up? I'm Josh Schwartz. I'm 22. So yeah, I live in the world of recovery. I came from an upbringing with a family with a good outcome. I wasn't one of those kids who was raised like underprivileged, but I still turned to like the street life. I started getting high when I was 10. I was just smoking weed. But by the time I was 14, I was using fentanyl, I was using cocaine and crack. And that all started, I went to boarding school and I thought it was going to change my life. I was a college recruit by the age of 15 for soccer. I had all these like goals and aspirations. I was like, I'm going to play pro soccer in a different country. And like, I never thought like to this day, like I'd just be living in California right now in my own house. So when it got really bad, I was about 15, I started using needles. I didn't want to use needles, but the smoking and snorting of drugs just wasn't working. Heroin was off the streets at that point, and my roommate was like, hey, I'm going to show you how to put like drugs through your veins. And I was like, for sure. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I was in my second boarding school. I've been kicked out. In all, I've been kicked out of 6 boarding schools, 2 private schools. I've had 2 court cases, been arrested drunk and intoxicated, put in the drunk tank multiple times. But I think the thing that really took me over the top was my last expulsion. I overdosed for the second time on a school campus, and I was getting expelled. And at that point, I was 17, and like, I'd seen no hope. I was just like, I have no life. I can't get a day or two sober. I can't really believe in a higher power, because if like there's like a God out there, like why is he giving me all this pain? So when I got kicked out, I actually got an opportunity. I got to move to Spain. I lived in Spain for 6 months playing soccer. Thankfully, I lost my contract. I say that now in regards to what I was 17 when I was living out there. When I got fired, I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, this was my only opportunity. But I look at it now as a blessing, because like if I had stayed out there and I'd gotten arrested after I got kicked off that team, my parents wouldn't have bailed me out of jail. So I moved out to LA in, let's see, it is February 2023. So June 24th of 2020, I moved to California and I moved to LA. And that was just the start of a new life for me. I grew up in Connecticut, so I'm not used to like the LA's culture, like the fast pace, fast moving. I'd never met like people that were into like surfing. Like I'd surfed a little bit on the East Coast, but all these like things that I had never seen were just so beautiful to me. Like I saw the beautiful side of life, because my side of life of when it gets cold, I shoot dope. When it's slightly warm, there's nothing to do in Connecticut, so I shoot dope. And now I have a lot of time off of drugs and alcohol, and I don't say that's because of me. That's definitely not my choice at first. Something inside of me that was talking to me one night told me, hey, you need to get sober. Like, you're throwing everything away. Because summer of 2022, my grandpa passed away. That was the only person I cared about in this life. I haven't seen him in 6 years. Last time I saw him, I was shooting fentanyl, going away to get help in North Carolina. And when he died, I was not invited to the funeral. My family didn't want anything to do with me. I was invited to the funeral over Zoom. So my bright idea is, I'm coming off of a lot of liquor from that night. So I go to the beach in Huntington Beach, California, and I'm just doing key bumps of cocaine. And then the Zoom starts, and like everyone's watching me on a TV, but I don't see them. So I didn't know my camera was on, because I was so high. So they're all watching me doing bumps of cocaine at this funeral for my grandpa that passed away. That's like was well known as a therapist. So I just get blocked, and I had no financial support. I had no family support. Everyone blocked me on everything. My mom, dad, cousins, grandparents, they wanted nothing to do with me. So about a month later, I decided to make a change in my life. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm about to be 22 years old this year. I have no friends. The people I associate just want to buy drugs from me. I have no family. I'm running out of money. And it just got depressing. And I said the outcome of this is I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to go get help. And I made a call at 3 a.m., I believe. And I got the opportunity to go get sober, and like live with a bunch of sober people, so I wouldn't have to be alone. I could do this with like roommates and like feel good. And like what led up to that call, I took a shower and I smoked a bunch of DMT and I lit an incense. And like in my old phone, I had photos, like pictures of the incense smoke coming out, and I just thought aliens were gonna get in my head. And like I couldn't imagine having a kid and myself have to go through what I've gone through, because it's just a lonely, depressing world. So throughout the year, this last year and a half of me staying off of drugs and alcohol, I've learned a lot. I've learned that, like, I took a year off from dating. I was like, I'm not going to date any girl. Like, I have nothing to offer them except not knowing how to live my life sober. I don't know how to, like, do anything on my own. I don't know how to, like, pay insurance. I don't know how to pay car bills. I don't know how to clean a house. So I was like, well, why date a girl when I can't offer them anything? I learned how to work a job and not get fired, because every job I've had, I'll get fired because I'd be high at work and they'd be like, all right, you can go. I learned how to trust others. I always thought that, like, due to my addiction, that everyone was just out to get me. Like, they wanted to find, like, hey, this kid has that, so let's manipulate him, get what we want from him, and then never talk to him again. I have people I can call up today, 2, 3 a.m., and if I'm like, oh, I want to get high tonight, I can call them and be like, yo, can we talk? Like, I'm struggling. Like, I have genuine friends that I can call, like, family, which I didn't think I was ever going to have. I thought I was just going to be alone and, like, not have trustworthy people. I found, like, spirituality. I wake up every morning. I have a book that I read every morning that's a reflections book, so I can reflect on the day and have, like, a goal set for, like, what I'm going to do today to either improve my life in a better way, and then I also have a second goal of how can I help someone today. And 2 nights ago, I was going to LA with some friends, and this person's car was broken down in the middle of the lane, so I went and parked. I would never have done this a year ago, too. I parked on the side of the road, and I walk up, and I'm like, hey, how can I help you? It looks like your car's broken down. So me and him just pushed his car out of the middle road. I'm not expecting anything. I don't need his money. I don't need to, like, do anything. But I said, do you need, like, me to call a tow truck? Or, like, he's like, no, can I give you guys, like, $5 or $10 for the help? And I'm like, I really can't take that. Like, but a year ago, if I was high and I was like, did that, and he offered me the money, I'd be like, oh, well, you can pay me this much, because I was so selfish that I was like, if he's gonna offer me something, I deserve more than what he offers. And it just feels good. Like, no, I was just watching cars drive by when I was parking, and no one's, like, asking them for help, and I was like, this world has just become to, like, I need to get to my destination because I'm the most important thing in this world. And it's like, I just do anything I can do to help. And then when it comes to, like, me, like, meditating every day, I'm not the best at it. I do it once a day when I should be doing it twice, like when I wake up before I go to bed. But it's just, like, a time for me to, like, just sit in my room. Like, I made my room very comfortable, like, soft and cozy in my house that I just got, and it's like I'm able to, like, sit there and, like, not just, like, be silent, but, like, I can be reflecting on, like, what I could have done better at the end of the night. Like, I can think about, like, did I approach this situation with my best intentions? Did I treat my girlfriend the right way that I should have treated her? Did I talk to my mom in a rude way? Do I owe her an apology for me saying something? And half the time, even if she doesn't need one, I apologize because I feel like I said something wrong, and she appreciates the gesture, but she's like, I didn't take it that way when I apologized to her. She's like, I didn't think you did anything wrong. I think you just worded it wrong, and you need to like be okay with like if you word something wrong, you don't have to apologize. I do live in like gratitude every day also because I have like, I don't call it a God. I was raised Jewish. I went to Catholic boarding. All my boarding schools were Catholic. So I was always like either forced into like my parents' religion as being a Jewish son, or I would be at high school being forced to go to church every day. And I just was like so turned off by like the word God, like the typical like old man, white beard in the sky. So I found like my higher power of spirituality where it's like, it's the nature, it's the beach, it's the ocean, it's anything outdoors, because I don't know how it was created. I don't know how it stays there. I don't know how the ocean is full of water. It's the unknown, and I can just go to the beach and feel that connection. I can put my feet in the sand and know that something is looking down on me and is saying, I'm proud of you. That's why you're still here today, is to help someone else out. And I go to the beach because I work down the street from the beach. I see it from my job every day, that I go there either before work or I'll go after, and I'll just sit there for 10 minutes and I'll just like meditate, and I'll get ready for my shift at work because I work in a rehab where I'm with people who are struggling with life. And it's not just like they're coming off of drugs, but some people I work with have severe mental health, and it brings me joy when I can put a smile on their face. I don't have to get them anything, but I've come up with a like reward system. Like if they go to all their groups every week, if they show up and are keeping their rooms clean, I'll buy them a bag of candy every day, because like I know when I personally went through like a program for my mental health or my drug addiction, that if a staff did that for me, it made my life feel more comfortable that someone cared about me and loved me. Because in this world, when you don't feel loved, you just get super alone, you get depressed, and like being in a place where you don't know anyone at first, it can help you. It can help you feel more comfortable to open up to someone and like be like, how can I change my life for the better? And it just feels like good to see that smile when I get there, because every time I get there and I pick them up, they have like a huge smile on their face. And like, I don't do it because like I want to be their favorite. I want to do it because like I want them to know that they can have a better life after this, and they don't have to go back to their old way of living and be alone, depressed in their house, getting high. Tell a funny story. I was at boarding school. I was at my second boarding school, and I had a bunch of cocaine, and it was like 4 a.m, and our dorm's locked from the outside after 2 a.m. So if like you come home late, it buzzes and the security guard comes. And in the stairwell, there's this second story, and I had to pee so bad. And the security guard's smoking a cig where there's no camera, which is where the window is in the stairwell. So I just started peeing on this dude's head, and I thought that was funny. I was like, dude, this is comedy gold. And he's like looking at me, yelling at me, and like he didn't know who I was, like, because like if I snuck out at night, like I made sure I didn't get caught, or I'd be wearing a ski mask, which especially nowadays looks really sketchy because all the issues with like school shootings going on. If you see someone jumping out of a dorm window with a ski mask, but like back then it wasn't so bad. But like, so I'm pissing on his head. He's screaming. He's like, "Who are you?" So I like run back to my room, and I live on the second story. He gets up there and sees my lights on because I'm not smart. I'm the only light with the room on in the dorm, so he's getting his keys out. I jump out my second story window, and I run all the way around and hop back through that window in the stairwell, and he's leaving throughout the other exit. I never got caught. I'd done a bunch of stuff like that. I streaked on campus in a Trump mask around all the buildings. Like, I was just a menace to society, and now, today, I'm the dude that people, like my family, my brother calls me up when he's struggling. He's older. He has a legit career where he makes very good money, but he calls me for life advice because he was very sheltered, whereas I moved out at a young age and had to learn it all on my own. And it's super dope now. Like, I'm never off of work either. I always am answering phone for someone. I'm super grateful to be here. So thank you.